the craziest thing happened. She did this. Good Morning America called the Knicks.
Stop it. Hello, everyone. Morgan here, co-founder of Primal Kitchen and host of the Primal Kitchen podcast. I'm super excited to chat with former NBA trainer turned sports drink entrepreneur, Bar Malik. He's worked with huge teams like MLB's Pittsburgh Pirates and oversaw strength and conditioning for NBA's New York Knicks for 7 years. He's since retired from sports training and teamed up with Kyle Kazuma to found Barcode, a company disrupting the classic sports drink category by creating a plant-based, soy-free, gluten-free, and low-sugar electrolyte sports drink. Before we get the entire scoop on this entrepreneurial journey, a quick reminder that any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the view of Primal Kitchen or its affiliates or parent company. Hi, Bar. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Morgan? Good. I'm glad to be here. I feel like this is overdue. I've been a fan of you guys from afar, so I look forward to speaking with you.
I love it. I'm so flattered. I hope you were then promoting us to all of these celebrity athletes you've been working with for so many years.
I actually have a book in front of me. It's the Keto Reset Diet.
Oh, really?
I had it for a long time. So
yeah, no, that's a great one. That's like one of Mark's most recent book. That's awesome. So you have such an interesting story here. I want to know, I think the people want to hear, what's your journey? How'd you get here? How'd you get into professional training and founding Barcode? So give me the full scoop.
Man, my journey is so unorthodox, but I think it's one that, people will appreciate it because it's truly authentic. A lot of things I've learned, within the last 15 years. But, one thing that has always stuck with me is I've always been interested in wellness. Since I was a kid, I played sports. I've always was that kid that made sure I had my water bottle, made sure I had, things that would, keep me, active, like the salt packets and the pickle juice, all the tricks that I used to do as a kid, that kind of, drove me into just falling in love with sports. And, in high school, I played competitive basketball, baseball, football, like every other traditional kid. But I knew very early I wasn't going to be a pro, but I was just fascinated by just, what it took to get there. And that led me to majoring in, sports science, exercise physiology, sports medicine. And, at a very young age of 19, I became an intern for a basketball team in Pennsylvania called St. Joseph's. And I just got a love for the game of basketball as a performance coach. And my dream was always, as a kid, to work in the NBA as a physical therapist and or like a sports performance director. And through years of working in baseball, I spent 5 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I spent a couple years in, working with special ops in Northern Virginia. And then the last 7 years prior to launching Barcode, I reached my goal of making it in the NBA as a performance director, and I worked for the Knicks. And, during that journey, I just thought about, a lot about just what the athletes, do at that level to stay healthy and, to succeed and, have long, careers. And it's a lot. And, when I look back at my career as a performance director, it's no different than what, high performers today, like yourself, like you and I, that need to just kind of adopt these habits of just, what happens outside of work that allow us to be our best selves. And I've come across, a lot of different things in the NBA that, I felt like, if there was a company that, was, better for you, that, was healthy, was efficacious, meaning it did what it needed to do, that tastes good. And then you figure out a way to get these athletes who you have experience with to actually try it, taste it, test it prior to launching it. So you almost build up this community of likeness prior to even launching it. I think you have an opportunity to disrupt a space. And my idea was a beverage. So a few years ago, I became obsessed with just nutrition and beverages per se, because I felt like the beverage space was antiquated. I think, without even saying names, but I mean, I'm a big fan of, the Gatorades, the Body Armors. Obviously, it was a big deal. Yesterday, 2 days ago, that just happened. But I think, they trailblazed the space. And I also looked at it from a perspective of, most companies look at just the game, like what happens inside of a game. But, there's 22 hours beside the game that, people have to live and stay ready and be healthy and to be able to perform at that level day in and day out. And those areas are nutrition, recovery, sleep, and just, your mental well-being. And because I was behind the bench for 7 seasons, the liaison between the sports medicine team, the team nutritionist and the player, and also working with various companies, we were just dropping a ball on what products could help, both during the game and also, around the game. So I just started literally, creating my own solution. And I used to, create this solution in a 4-ounce bottle, and I used to give it away as like a shot. And I thought about all the vitamins and minerals that, we used to give players day to day to help combat like the stress of playing a game. When I say stress, I'm talking about, traveling across, maybe 3 different time zones in a week. You have their fathers, they have kids, they have, injuries, we have, no sunlight. So we have chronic deficiencies of vitamin D. So all these things that we're like giving them, to combat this, sugar and electrolytes just wasn't enough. So I started looking at magnesium, adaptogens, way back before it became super popular, because we were giving away ashwagandha and turmeric for a very long time without, being so mainstream. And, looking at, coconut water as a natural, component to a drink for sweetness, and also for the levels of potassium, looking at, sodium rates and all these different things, and plant-based, and how could that impact, gut absorption. And I thought about this, and I did this probably behind the scenes for 2.5 years. So 2.5 years of testing it, tasting it, giving it away to as many people as possible. And then I got, excited because it worked. So, the players liked it, and I wasn't even thinking about, quitting the team at that time. I just felt like I had like a cool hobby that, I'm actually giving away to athletes that's better than what we're currently offering, and also what, bigger brands were paying, because the players weren't drinking it. They were drinking what I was making behind the scenes. So I was excited. So I started giving it away to other people now in New York City outside of basketball. So I started investing in, a gym called Dog Pound in New York City.
Cool.
And I started spending more time with trainers, other like, models, women, other entrepreneurs, other high performers, and they liked it. And then the game changer was I started, spending time with Halle Berry during a movie that's coming out this month. I started working with her in the mornings before practice, and I started giving her the same drink. And, she had a vitamin D deficiency way back in the day, and she felt like the drink was helping her with her vitamin D, right? So when she got the drink, I'm still with the team. She started talking about this drink when I had no website, I had no brand, I had I didn't have an LLC, no corporation, I didn't have anything. I'm still just a performance director. And she was like, I love this drink. It's amazing. You should think about, launching it. I'm like, I never even thought about, launching a product, but you think I can do this? She goes, yeah, you should do it. Like, it's healthy. I like it. It's good for my skin, and I'm 53 and it's making me feel great. Like, I'm training to be an MMA fighter for my upcoming movie. You got to launch this. So that Friday, she started talking about it on like her Fitness Friday, like Instagram stories. And she said to me on Thursday night, I remember, she was like, hey, look, I'm going to talk about this product on Friday. You better go home and create a splash page and capture some emails. Because once I talk about this, like, people are going to want it. So she did it.
No.
And the craziest thing happened. She did this. Good Morning America called the Knicks.
Stop it. I thought you were going to tell me like there was some professional athlete. I didn't know. I mean, well, I guess Halle Berry's like pretty much a professional athlete at this point.
This is the start of all.
Yeah, I did not. I was not expecting that was going to be the launch to the brand.
No. Out of all the athletes I work with, out of all the people I've met, she was the biggest influence, because she got Good Morning America to call the team.
That's crazy. She's really into keto and stuff too, though. She's like
she's intermittent fasting. She's keto. Like, she used to drink, exogenous ketones, like before she didn't eat.
Yeah.
But she's super dialed into her nutrition. And more importantly, like, what it kickstarted in me was she started to believe in me, not just as a performance director. Right. So that's when the game changed. It's like, well, wait, Good Morning America wants to talk to me about this beverage.
Yeah. That I haven't created yet. It has no name.
It has no name. I figured it out. So what happened was, I was like, all right, name. I had like a different name. It was called Project Hydrate. And I just didn't like the name. Yeah. And I remember creating Project Hydrate. And do you remember the brand Dirty Lemon?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So they had crazy marketing. They had like really.
My COO is a former co-founder. So we're together now. But how I met him was, I'm like, okay, I have an opportunity here. Like, I have the best idea. I have 7 NBA athletes right now who drank the product, who like it, who will support it and invest in a heartbeat because I was giving it to them for 2 years. And I have this gym partnership where I can easily, host events, have activations, and test. And I knew a ton of founders in New York City that have, raised money for food and beverage in New York City in 2018. So I started thinking about, okay, how can I like create this company? But I hate the name. So one day I just woke up, I was like, damn, Barcode. I was like, oh man, you know what? It'd be really cool if you could, have a label that like unlocks something for you. So I was like, oh, unlock your health, but unlock the code to your better self, or just all these different tags. It was like, Barcode is it. This is before we went into quarantine. I was like, Barcode is it. It'd be super cool to have like a minimalistic, AR filtered label where you can scan it. It can take you to content, QR codes. And at this time, 2018, people thought I was crazy because we didn't think about QR codes and everything is touchless now. But back then it was like, why would I take my phone out?
Yeah.
Why would I take my phone out and want to scan the label to see what it tells me? I'm like, wouldn't it be cool? Anyway, so I came up with Barcode and I literally pitched this idea to Iris Nova. So back then, Dirty Lemon had like their parent company, Iris Nova. They had sold Dirty Lemon to Coke, and they had to prove to Coke that their platform was able to distribute products in New York City. So they were taking on like applicants to get on this platform. I didn't have a product. I had samples. So I just cold emailed Zach, their founder.
Okay, when you say platform, you're talking like their direct-to-consumer distribution, right? Okay, because they had like really crazy like text messaging. You text them, and they'd order that you could order. They just deliver product to your apartment in New York.
So they started incubating brands now to take technology. And I was obsessed with that technology. So I just emailed them. I kept like being a pain in the butt. I'm like, hey guys, look, I have the best opportunity here. You guys don't have a sports drink. I work with the Knicks. I work in sports. I have 100, contacts all across sports. I have the best advisors. I have a solution I've been making for 3 years and it works and the athletes are behind it. Let me partner with you all to commercialize it. We scale it and we create a partnership. So that was the plan originally 2.5 years ago. But I didn't have a product and they were looking for like products that were ready to be distributed like tomorrow. So they're like, oh, we don't have a product, like it's too early for us, but we love the idea, maybe next time. So I left them and a year and a half later, they split up. One of their partners split and he moved to LA. And I had been, at this point, I had a bottle. I had, it was a little bit of a brand to it. I already had it in 16, fluid ounces of it. I had like, 2 cases available. So I was like, hey, Adam, look, I'm still with the Knicks, but I'm about to quit. Like, I'm ready to focus all my time on this beverage company. I'll give you, equity. I can't pay you yet because I don't, I haven't raised any funds, but I think you can help me scale this. And he joined me. And once he joined me, that just solidified that I had a company. I formed it, and I created a corporation, brought in like a bunch of different like investors who have experience in beverage. Cool. And then I started bringing on my athletes who I was giving a product to, who supported me way back before I even had a company formed. And I met Kuz not until quarantine hit. So I had already formed the company, already had the formulation, already had everything in line, except for like, I didn't have a full agency brand yet. So when I met him during quarantine, he was, preparing for the finals. So I was like, this is the best opportunity for me to really test if this product is like championship caliber. So we met through a mutual business partner in LA and I sent him 2 cases of, I said, hey, do me a favor. Like, if you like this, let's talk, but I want you to try it and use it, during the games and practices, like see if it works on you first before we even think about, a partnership. Cause at the time he was working with a different beverage company as a sponsored athlete. So it was a conflict of interest for him to actually, partner up. But then once that contract, expired, he had the product, it worked, they won a championship, and the rest of the talks were history. He came on board as a co-founder. I moved to LA. We launched a product in LA and we have distribution here in LA. And, we've focused a ton of our efforts on just, our partnerships, our community. So we haven't spent a ton of money on marketing, but we surpassed, 300,000 in sales. We're the second highest, selling beverage in Erewhon. We have like 10 different NBA athletes, 2 entertainers, and just a dynamite crew of just people who have experience, in areas of supply chain, logistics, distribution. And now, I've been in a year, it's been a year of fully operating the company. And to think that like I'm in the process of a bridge round, where our valuation has, more than doubled. And now I'm strategically trying to, think about bringing in bigger investors. It's just incredible to look back at where I started. And then now living in LA and looking at like Walmart, looking at bigger partnerships with Erewhon, Central Markets, bringing in different investors, and actually thinking about like a nationally recognized brand. Anybody can, do it if you just take the time to just think about what you're passionate about and figure out how to create, a vehicle where you can surround yourself with the right people to have a product that can, one, that fits where the market is headed, and two, that contributes to the well-being of people. And that's what Barcode is. It's a better for you, plant-based product that contains everything your body needs to be healthy. And we have a thriving community. We're not just sports driven. We have a diversity group of different people involved. And our mission is to just, make the everyday consumer, healthier with, a better for you functional beverage that I believe, hands down has the best, taste and also ingredient panel that has ever been offered in this space. So here I am.
I love it. That's an amazing story already. And we're only in like the first inning, I feel like.
I know.
It's awesome. Your branding is like really epic too. I'm like super impressed. As someone who's been doing package design for a while, it's great. It's like finally someone's doing something like different and unique and creative.
We were on BevNet a couple of months ago, and
the Die Line. You were on the Die Line. Do you know that website?
Die Line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Thank you. I mean, I take pride in all of it. I appreciate that, because we were told on BevNet in a good way that we did everything wrong but right, because we're just so different.
Yeah.
It's like you look at us and you really don't know what it is. It's cryptic. What is it? Can you scan it? Does it take me somewhere? Is it too innovative? But it was never meant to be a retail like product immediately. But now it is. But it actually looks great on the shelf, and more importantly, you want consumers to grab it, and it's eye catching. You can grab it.
It's very cool. Very authentic.
Some days they did a good job with just like taking a barcode and actually make it look, very futuristic and chic. And yeah, thank you, because I think they did a really good job with it.
Did you say your agency is who?
Some Days.
Oh, cool.
They did Vibes.
Cool.
You ever see the hemp infused, like, I don't know, functional beverage?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so this word opportunity just kept coming up over and over again in your story. I'm just like, you were like, yeah, I was just like, I got an internship, and then I'm just like this performance director. Like, I feel like, I mean, how did you truly, one, what is a performance director for a professional team? I don't even know what that means. And then two, how did you actually get here? Because you're just like flippantly telling me like, oh yeah, and then I just did this and did that. But there's like, it seems like you've just really jumped on all the opportunities, which I love about
you. To be very honest, like, and my teammates, I'm very humble, but I was the best in the NBA, because I was, I'm really passionate about just like, making people better. And, you have to seize opportunities, and you just don't know when they're going to happen. So for me, I've always envisioned myself to be a leader in sports performance, and it started out with just the training. So I owned my skills in the weight room first with baseball, and I wasn't that big of a person coming out of high school. So I trained myself physically to kind of understand just like biologically and also just like physiologically, like how can you improve like your performance, whether it's strengthening, whether it's endurance, strength training, stability, core strength.
Okay, and what have you found? Like, what are the tips and tricks with each of these things you're talking about?
The core, like you're just everything, between your shoulders, and your hips, just keeping your core, as strong as possible, and then everything else, works itself out. How do
you do that? I mean, I'm assuming it's.
I'm very obsessed with kettlebell training. I love kettlebells. Okay. I think it's novice enough for you to start at any way, but you can load yourself enough where it overstimulates you, so you can actually layer in like a lot of just heavy lifting, a lot of like ballistic Olympic type explosive lifts, but not hurt yourself because of the way that the kettlebell is designed as a cannonball. So I love kettlebell training. I'm a huge fan of, like functional, training with cables and bands, things you can do at home. And I think the biggest thing is just time under tension. Is how long can you go within each contractions to get your body to be in this kind of, this state of just shock, constantly. And it happens with just modulating, between band work, kettlebells, and, like your high intensity, heavy lifting, whatever it is for you, and then keeping your muscles constantly under tension over time. That's the key to it. And then you think about the sport, then you just kind of, you mirror those properties into a sport. Baseball is a sprinter sport. The plays don't last longer than 5 seconds. So your lifting probably shouldn't last longer than 5 seconds. Basketball is a game of endurance. They run, 3 hours, more than 3 miles in a game. And there are anomalies. They're 7 feet or 6'10". They weigh, 250 pounds. So you got to think about just like an explosive, so you got to think about just how much of an impact that has during the game as far as like how you train them. And a lot of it is like lighter loads, lighter weights, unless they're kids, but like the older players are lighter. The training is a lot lighter because of how much they exert during a game. And then you start thinking about, recovery and how does that enhance performance. So I started diving deeply into just like the computer science of it. Like after I got out of baseball, I started working with the Department of Defense. And for 2 years, I was like away from the weight room. I was on a computer and I used to look at like the data of like how fast do you run, throughout the course of an event? What's your heart rate exertion when you do X? What's your heart rate when you're meditating for 5 minutes before you even have coffee or before you even get up and, go out throughout your day? What does, your nervous system say if you don't have sleep and you play a game? It's all these other variables that, as a performance director, you have to manage and monitor. And I didn't own that spot until I got to New York. So now I had the training from the baseball and I had computer science from the military. And then once I got to New York, it was all encompassing. So you're constantly talking with, as a performance director, you're overseeing the training, the sports science, which is the computer stuff. And you're working closely with the dietitian. And then you're talking constantly with your president, giving reports about if a player is ready or not, like how are they improving, whether it's body fat's improved, body fat hasn't, is their leg strength better, are the core engaged, all these other metrics that you have to provide to tell a player, a team, if this is a good investment or not. And I did that for 7 years and I just put my head down and just didn't think about anything else.
Yeah.
So, that's, about seizing the moment is just, can you really, immerse yourself into a project or a passion of yours to where it materializes into something that you can take anywhere. And I've adopted that method, of body and of work into this product. And, that's why I think a lot of athletes gravitate towards it, because of just the chronological way of, how you look at, where it came from is very similar to being like a pro athlete or any pro. And then gradually just, graduating to, the big leagues per se. And then, using that experience and your connectivity to other people and, really listening to the community and what they want and using your resources and experiences to make it come to life. And that's what I've done my entire life.
Yeah. I love it. Where'd you grow up?
Philly.
Cool.
So my family's in East Coast, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I kind of say I usually say I'm a New Yorker because I spent 7 years there. That's the longest I've spent in any city. Yeah. 7.
Yeah. Well, if that method holds, I'm a Los Angeles person, even though I spent 9 years there, but I'm not there now. So yeah, I feel that's true. How are you liking LA?
I love LA.
Yeah.
I got my friend here. You can walk in.
Yeah. It's great.
I love LA.
Yeah.
I got one of my business partners, my business partner. We work, obviously, you work from home?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I set up shop like home and got a desk and stuff, and she's bringing food, Erewhon. So we got like our lunch after this. But I love LA. I love, the difference is like, I wouldn't change. Like when I compare New York City to LA, it's like, I had to go through New York City. Like I had to be a New Yorker. I had to like, wake up going 100 miles an hour. I had to like meet with the world mentality. Like, I'm gonna kill you. I mean, it's like New York mentality is just, it's like, you have to leave before it just destroys you, because it's like so stimulating and it's so just like, I can't even explain it, but it's like you wake up with just like, I'm gonna attack the day every day. And it can become unhealthy, depending on how you're channeling that energy. So for me, I think 7 years of living there, being in sports, and then coming, to LA where it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more laid back. Yeah. People are nice. People are actually nice, right? People are nicer. And then people are more into health and just, conscious eating and well-being and more outdoors, activities. People are, running, hiking, surfing, skateboarding, everything. Whereas in New York, you work 15 hours a day and you just get obliterated on the weekend. It's not healthy. So for this phase of my life with this company, I couldn't picture a better like city, because I really love being in Santa Monica, and I love it here.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so through all this performance director experience, like what other things would you think people would want to know? Like what other hacks do you have that really were like life-changing for some of these athletes? Because like this is like next level training stuff.
Yeah.
We want to know the secrets, Bar.
Yeah. I think the secret is probably like, I believe in is, and it's kind of, conventional, but I believe in, cold showers. Like, I think like there's something outside of, vasal, constriction that it provides. It's just this fear factor, of just, doing things that, you don't want to do, and just, getting through it. And I think, the grip muscle, right? It's like, I tell my athletes all the time, just, constantly get in the cold tub, after you train. One, is better for your muscles, helps you recover quicker. But more importantly, it just does something to you mentally that I think, translates into performance. So a big hack for me would be, cold showers, in the morning, as much as you can. I love, infrared heat, near infrared lighting. I love red lighting. I think, it does it helps your cells and the mitochondria kind of like flush itself out, and it stimulates, collagen, which is good for your tendons, and it helps with just, tendon growth. And then another big proponent is probably probiotics, just like having a healthy gut. Like I think a lot of people don't think about just like, how important it is to just, have a gut line that, is able to digest and absorb, the contents of your foods. Because you have to perform at a certain way. And I think, those are just three things that are controllable, that you don't have to spend a ton of money on. And I've kind of mastered like how to like get them to put that in their day. So it's like understanding what their day looks like, and then how do you filter in all these different little hacks throughout the day, so you keep your energy levels very stable. And whether it's practice or a game or at home with your family, just relaxing, you're always in this optimal phase of being, because you've kind of checked the box off of, recovery, neuromuscular, like, relaxation, and then you have a healthy gut, which, impacts your brain. I think that's like living optimally, right? And that's what, this product does the same thing.
Very cool. And the ingredients in Barcode, you've got some adaptogens. What's in there?
Yeah.
Like, give us the hit list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cordyceps is a fungus, and it helps with, it's a natural energy booster. We have that in watermelon, and I decided to go with that because one is helps decrease anxiety and also stress, but it also boosts natural levels of energy. And then rhodiola, that boosts your strength and endurance from a plant. And I think it just dissolves a lot easier than ashwagandha, and it's not as, I guess, bitter when you drink it. So we decided to go with those two adaptogenic properties. But more importantly, the vitamin D is from a mushroom. So I think, shiitake mushroom, which is pretty popular now, and that they're more potent for vitamin D. So we have that in there, and no product, has talked about vitamin D and just the influence it has on just like recovery and all around health and just your wellness. And I think, more products now will be, infused with vitamin D, because everyone is indoors. So we work from indoors, so we're not getting outside. So I think, having those three differentiators are key and huge. And then monk fruit is all natural, and it doesn't spike your insulin levels. So you're not like drinking a product or eating anything and you feel like this kind of rush of and energy, and then you crash. It's constantly just stable because your body is just constantly being regulated by the collaboration of all of them, right? It's not just one, ingredient. It's all of them working together to create this kind of like optimal way of nurturement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. We use monk fruit at Primal Kitchen. I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of monk fruit, and it tastes better than stevia.
It tastes better. Yeah. I mean, some people have like this aftertaste, but I think you have to mix it with like the right things. Like we have our flavors are natural. It's from fruit. So we have, lemon lime, we have watermelon, it's from fruit, and then we have coconut water. So it kind of like dissolves the taste of a monk fruit. Like some people have like this aftertaste of monk fruit. And I think it's because they're not combining it with they're not diluting it with the right, solution.
And what's the sugar content like? 3 grams.
2 grams.
2 grams. Nice. Yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah. I mean, I got 2 kids and like this shit they give kids is just like, it's like,
Terrible.
I'm like, it's like self-defense. I mean, anytime you leave the house just to like keep the sugar out of the diet, it's crazy. So
what are your strategy? Like, what do you do? As a mom, what's your strategy?
Oh, I mean, just like we don't have any around the house. So then I can kind of relax more when we're elsewhere. My husband and I also like don't have a lot of self-control. So we do better if there's just like not the temptation there. But yeah. And then with my kids, I try not to be too like restrictive because I don't want them to like rebel on me and, you know, be hiding behind the curtains eating candy they like stole from some friend's house.
Our drink is pretty sweet. Like we've heard people say, oh, it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher because it's actually pretty sweet. Because you still have to kind of like cater to this sweetness. Like we're Americans, we want sugar, right? So we grew up on sugar. So whenever you think of like an all natural product, oh, it's plant-based, it's vegan, it probably tastes like shit. Like, no, it actually tastes, you know, really good. So I think, you know, we've done a great job with just keeping something that's like healthy, but it's still sweet and it's good for you. But yeah, I mean, these other beverages have like 40 grams of sugar, you know, they have 1,000 milligrams of like sodium, potassium. It's overindulging, but people like it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so we're going to change it, but people like sugar. So it's just a silent killer, right?
So, it's like public enemy number one, more addictive than drugs. Okay. So any like players throughout your career in baseball and basketball, like any players that had like really cool success stories with their health and any specific things that you observed that like helped, you know, drinks or lifestyle, like anything. I'm just curious what some of the tips were.
Yeah, I think you know, one of my closest friends and he, you know, he plays for the Lakers and I currently work with him now is Carmelo Anthony. I mean, he's 37, going 38, and you know, I met him 10 years ago almost, and he, you know, was in the prime of his career, averaging, you know, 28 points, leading team in scoring. And, you know, as you get older, you kind of don't have the same role. And you have a tendency as you get into your upper 30s to kind of like, you know, decrease in performance, like not be a perennial player. And I watched, you know, like, you know, him, you know, rise up, you know, leave New York and then kind of like, you know, not get stagnant, but just, you know, not have the same, you know, output as he had, you know, back in his younger days. But now in LA, you know, he's changed his entire diet. I mean, he's plant-based, intermittent fasting. He obviously drinks Barcode. He's been a part of the brand since it was created way back in the day. But just watching how he just, you know, he eats and just, you know, takes care of his body as he gotten older. And I think, you know, when you watch him play now, he's averaging 17 points, the most he's averaged in 4 years. You know, he was 33 4 years ago, so now he's 37. He's averaging more and he's gotten better. His injuries history is better. His blood profiles are better. I mean, he got better as he got older. And I think, you know, we witnessed like, you know, 10 years ago, the way that he would just kind of just score 40 without doing anything. Mm-hmm. And now, you know, watching him change his diet, you know, having a smoothie, you know, taking probiotics, you know, drinking Barcode during, before and after the games and sleeping. And then, you know, using all the different recovery modalities on the plane, whether it's like Normatec boost while you're flying.
Wait, say that one more time, whether it's what while you're flying?
Normatec boost, you know, the boost, like the compression pants, like you sit in those, like, they're like recovery boots.
Yeah. Okay. Normatec, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because like I'll say it very casually and I'm thinking like most people don't know what Normatec boots are.
No.
But I see it every day. So I'm like, oh, it's Normatec boot, right? Yeah, it's almost like you know what Theragun is?
Oh, a Theragun, yeah.
Yeah,
that shit's mainstream now. I mean, that was like everybody's Christmas present last year that I knew in existence. My husband was like, who else can we buy a Theragun for? Like he travels with that thing. I'm like, dude, this weighs like it weighs more than our stroller. I'm like, really? We need to bring this with us? Yeah.
So watching his journey, because I watched like, you know, him rise to a crazy level of stardom. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's top 10 scorer ever in the NBA. And then kind of like plateauing and now going back up as he got in his upper 30s. It's just been incredible. And it's all because of just, you know, how he started to invest in his body. And I think, you know, younger athletes who, you know, are playing sports, who look up to these older players, you know, LeBron, for example, you know, he's getting better as he's getting older. It's because he literally spends, the game is 3 hours. He spends, you know, the other 12 hours of the day, you know, eating the right way, sleeping, massage, stretching, cold tub, infrared sauna, recovery bike flushes. Maybe you ride a bike for 15 minutes, just stretching, anything, foam rolling, Theragun. They have all of it.
Yeah.
And, watching people actually adopt it and use it, it helps me because, I work out. I mean, I'm pretty active. We all want to be active at something. And just knowing that, okay, like if I have a Theragun and I use it, maybe before I go to bed, I can wake up better and feel better in the morning, or if I use it in the morning first thing, it kind of excites my nervous system. Or maybe I should, think about, having magnesium before I go to bed. Should I have B12 when I first get up? It's like all these little things you're thinking about that actually help you. And I think, watching these guys perform day to day at a high level, we can adopt the same habits. That's what makes me excited, because it's not like you need to put a limit on your health. It's like you can change your health at any time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. So what's your like exercise and diet routine like?
Well, since we're fundraising, I'm like terrible right now. It's like
stressful.
I do a couple kettlebell swings, couple push-ups, done. But typically I usually I try to work out early if I can. We have a team of 4 and we try to, stay active. We work out, not together, but just kind of keep we're a functional beverage company, and it's active, it's lifestyle, it's fitness. So
your company, when you say you have a team of 4, you guys all have kind of like a commitment.
Yeah. We're just committing to our own routines.
Cool.
We have, a girl who, does Pilates. We have a head of brand who's like a high performer who does workout hard in the morning and does meditation and other stuff throughout the day. And then we have a CEO, Adam, who just may go for a walk. I mean, it varies, but we're trying to stay committed to our own routines because it keeps us sharp. So for me, I like deadlifts. I like pull-ups. So I have a day where I just do heavy deadlifts, pull-ups, bench press, kind of like the bigger, masculinity lifts, if you want to call it. One is just kind of there's no point. I just like to do it. Right. And then I have my functional days where it's cardio, where I do kettlebells for time, sled pushes, and, jump rope, things that keep me lean and active. I'll do, sauna once or twice a week, try to get a massage when I can, throughout the week if I can fit it in. But then I'll finish with just another functional training day, and or go to a class. Sometimes I go to classes because it's a brain dump. I don't have to think about, I've been doing it so long. All right, can someone just tell me what to do for 1 hour? It's I don't want to think. So it's a mix of heavy lifting, functional training, and a class. And I'll mix in massage and saunas as I can. But I try to stick to that routine. Weekends I'll go for a run by the beach. I like the water a lot, so I'll run, out by Santa Monica and just kind of listen to podcasts or things that I'm actually trying to learn about. Cool. And Sundays pretty much a rest day. I just chill out on Sundays.
I like it. And what's your diet like these days?
Not enough.
Not eating enough.
No, yeah, I would probably say I'm, pescatarian. I'm probably 90%, plant-based. I'll have salmon probably every other day.
Okay.
Some people have it every day, but salmon, cauliflower. I like Brussels sprouts. I like asparagus. I have quinoa rice. I have cauliflower pasta. But I don't eat before 2:00, so it's like a 16-8 window with intermittent fasting.
Cool.
I'll usually stop eating around 8:00. I'll eat at 2 the next day. I'll have a coffee with ghee butter in the morning. I used to be obsessed with bulletproof, so I used to be the guy who would just have the bulletproof coffee with the ghee and just don't have anything to eat except for bulletproof coffee. But I stopped that and I just do intermittent fasting, plant-based, pescatarian, and diet style, and then in moderation with sweets and goodies. I like sweets, but I try to stay away from them as much as I can. Yeah.
Sounds great. Super.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
They're not always perfect. I just don't even eat. It's if I'm working all day and I have to remind myself to go eat. So, I'm actually trying to get better with just staying consistent with eating. I don't cook, so I don't have a family. I'm single, so it's kind of hard to just cook for yourself. I'd rather just go to the store and pick up, ready to go food, which can be kind of monotonous and boring. But with that being said, if I don't have it in front of me, I won't go. So I have to really make myself go get it so I can go eat. Otherwise, I'll keep my head down and work all day. Yeah.
Are you spending your entire paycheck at Erewhon, or what's happening these days? Yeah. For those listening that don't know what Erewhon is, how do you describe Erewhon? It's What is it? How do you
So
describe it?
I had a brand. I had a brand right here, and when I first moved to LA, I didn't know anything about Erewhon. No,
Yeah.
literally nothing about Erewhon. Now I'm obsessed. Like I'm obsessed to the point where the CEO and president, I got him tickets to the game yesterday.
Stop.
Like that's how obsessed we are with Erewhon. But like, it's like Whole Foods on steroids.
Yeah.
And it makes Whole Foods look like Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it does, right? I mean, you have like the smoothies are $30. You know, the beverages, like we're priced at $4. It's like cheap. It's like beverages.
You're a steal at $4. Yeah.
$4.
Yeah.
But it's like the most premium grocery outlet I've ever been a part of. But I like it because they carry our product and our product does well in there.
Yeah.
But you know, I think being in LA for now is probably the best place for it, because I don't know if it would survive in like New York City or even like in a Texas type of community.
You'd be surprised with Primal. I remember at the beginning, people were like, oh, it's just going to be like, cause we have we launched with a $10 jar of mayonnaise. Right. So that was crazy in 2015. And
that sounds crazy. Yeah. But 76 years ago. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it still kind of sounds crazy now, but we did really well all over. Like we actually did really well in Texas and Florida and Colorado. Like there's, people, if you're onto something that people need, and they need like a sports drink that has no sugar in it, like people will pay for a higher quality product, especially when you're adding things like adaptogens and magnesium and all that.
And that's what and Morgan, we talked to Walmart. So the thing is, like, when you talk to Walmart, in people's mind, you think of like, oh, so what are you going to cut your price down $1? Like, no, like they are actually now trying to, like you just said, take on premium brands to give it to their consumers, to bring in a different type of consumer.
Because they don't have anyone else to bring into the store, Bar. They maxed out all the other demographics.
So like the timing of us is like, yes, like we're want to do this. But to your point, you have to play for better ingredients. Like it's for your health. At some point, the ball has to stop of like creating these sugar-filled waters and marking them up, $3 and coming down to $1 because it costs 10 cents to make. No, you're paying $4 or $3 because it actually costs 70 cents to make as opposed to 10 because it's better ingredients. Like this is where the world is headed, and I think like Targets, Walmart's, they're starting to recognize that because, like you said, they tapped out on it. They need a different demographic of consumers. And I think,
and there's more and more. Mark and I always talk about like, there's more, once you kind of like learn, you can't like unlearn the benefits of health. You can't forget that. Like sometimes I almost wish I didn't know. I'm almost like, shit, it would be so much easier if I was just like naive and I had no clue and I didn't have to worry about how much sugar my kids are eating and, But so the amount of people that are going to like learn, and then that group is just growing. So I think that's really cool. And Erewhon, if anyone hasn't been there, you got to check it out. If you go to LA, it is like the most premium grocery store in the world. But I think it's almost like, well, because I love the food and beverage industry, but it's like an experience to go to Erewhon. Like it's almost like the art of CPG. Anyone who's an artist in the CPG space who creates a product is there.
I go there just to look at the beverage, like the products, like just totally. To see.
Yeah, like, you don't even have to buy anything because you won't get out of there for under $200. But just go browse the aisles. It's fascinating. Okay, let's see. So I'm just like so enamored, but this is like such a great story. Are you still training people now, or are you just mostly full-time?
I'm full-time Barcode, but I work with the Lakers. I do stuff with them. I have players I still work with. I can't help it. I'm passionate about it. It keeps me in the game. But I try to minimize as much as I can to focus on the beverage, especially as we start growing. But I love training. I don't personally train, but athletes and teams, I'm always looking for opportunities where I can kind of one, infuse better habits and also my product, but then two, like just kind of like I need that for me to stay connected to just working with the athletes.
Wait, did Kyle Kazuma just get traded? Is that right?
Traded. Wizards. So I moved to LA. He signed a 4-year contract. 4 years. So I'm thinking like, okay, like we're gonna be in LA for 4 years. He got traded at 8 months into that contract. So I'm like, okay, now what? So anyway. I decided to stay here. Our team is here. We our operations is in New Jersey as far as co-packer, but our sales are here. Like our client, our consumer based here. I would say, 80% of our sales online even is in LA. And believe it or not, it's women too. It's like 60%
I believe
women.
it. Women, we rule the CPG
Well,
space.
you do. Because you pay
rule
attention to the ingredients, and the loyalty y'all have with each other is incredible. It's like all the friends want what the friends have, and they all, you know, hang together. And like in LA, it's like influencer world. It's like they all create content. They all talk about products. I mean, it's like it's inundation of just, you know, product discovery with these women. And we have like, you know, 4 women that are involved in our brand. And, you know, Airwine reached out to us early on because the girls that they follow, you know, started posting about our product. And I think I lost you.
No, I'm still here. You got me.
They started approaching us about our products because of the girls they follow. So
yeah, no, it's a big, powerful thing. I mean, because people just trust other people, right? So, I mean, it's much better to have something because someone, you know, suggested it.
Word of mouth marketing is the best marketing.
It is. It's so true. So what are you most excited about these days in health and wellness besides Barcode? Like what new cutting edge stuff, or, you know, what are you most excited about? What are you learning about the most?
I think, you know, what I'm excited about is probably, I still like the sports science part of just like, you know, training. I like, you know, whether it is, you know, Fitbit or Whoop or just some type of device that, you know, measures, you know, your body and how it's recovering. I'm really into like, you know, that part of it. So, you know, I like to monitor that stuff. I like numbers. I think, you know, hydration is huge. And there's different like sweat patches that I've seen that can measure like hydration loss, fluid loss.
What is sweat patch? I've never even heard of this.
It's like you put a patch on for like activity, and then like it measures like sodium and potassium fluid loss. So when you're drinking a product or if you're eating anything, it can tell you if like that product has an influence in like your regulatory levels of hydration, like from a blood perspective. So I like that part of what's happening in the space. And it's a patch. And I think that's going to become more prevalent, especially as people start figuring out, you know, what really drives hydration. So I think sleep monitors are huge. You know, the Oura Ring I like a lot.
Really?
It worth like $1 billion. Yeah, I like Oura Ring because they detect sleep. Yeah, just those are probably, you know, the things I'm most excited about.
The personal, I love all that stuff.
Personalization stuff.
Yeah, like I've done it all. Yeah,
my husband. I don't think like, you know, to the everyday person, you don't have to like become like this nerd, but just having something to kind of measure if you're okay or not. You know, if you're averaging a sleep score of like 60, and then the next day, you don't know what caused this number to change, but it's like 85 and you feel like crap, then there's probably something you did the night before or within that week to kind of trigger a negative response. So it kind of makes you kind of troubleshoot like yourself all the time. And then you start correlating like that sensation with that 85 with how you feel compared to a 60. And then you start getting in this way of kind of like self-regulation. I think anything that allows you to self-regulate are things that I'm intrigued by.
Yeah, I am as well. When you say 85 and 60, are you talking Whoop scores or Oura Ring scores? What are those?
Yeah, like Whoop score, like a Whoop score.
Yeah. Adam, my husband had the Whoop for a while, then he lost the charger, and then
I lose everything too. But
but he thought it was cool. I mean, he was an athlete in college. He played football in college.
Oh, he did? Where'd he go?
Air Force Academy.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's tough.
Yeah, he's tough, and he liked that Whoop. That was cool. Even just the iWatch.
The Apple Watch. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like also with screen addiction these days, like if you just wear your iWatch, I never look at my phone. I don't even know where my phone is. Yeah. I think that's a big one. Okay. What is the biggest failure thus far for you, would you say? In life?
In life. That's a deep one. It's pretty deep.
I'm not fucking around.
I know. I think biggest failure, man. I don't even think it's like job related. It's just like not enjoying the journey as much, if that makes sense. Like now, like as a founder and like having freedom and like having a team of people, right, that I have to work with and manage who are totally different than me. Working in sports, you're around coaches so much, it's literally just go, go, go. It's the same. We all know how we're thinking, and it's just dominate. That's all it is, right? And you kind of lose sight of just like the world around you because you're so, tunnel vision and focused on, the mission, and you kind of lose out on just the important moments in life. Like I've lost a lot of time with family, siblings, nieces and nephews, birthdays, everything. And I just, I told myself this time around, like as an entrepreneur, I'm not going to like not enjoy the journey and take time to just actually appreciate, the time I get to spend with people, because you lose it, when you're not, thinking about, life in the bigger picture. So a failure for me is just not enjoying the journey as much as I should have when I was in sports.
Yeah, that is my favorite answer I've ever had on that one. I ask people that a lot, but that is like a really good one. The other day, we've got 2 toddlers.
Like, I could be like, oh, I really wanted to get this investment from this guy and he didn't give it to me. It's like, yeah, it's like, I can bring up, but I want to go deeper because it's like, yo, you should really enjoy the journey. Like if it's worth pursuing like that, then you probably should take some time out to actually enjoy like every step along the way, because you'd be surprised how quickly time flies. And before you know it, if you've gotten far, but like, what impact have you had with the people that were around you when you first started that maybe you just lost touch with? I mean, it's just little things that I think about because I'm so far away from home, and, I've missed out on opportunities with family members, who are no longer here. Yeah. So damn, if I would have just like maybe spent a little more time, like letting that person know like, yo, like you're my homie, I love you, whatever, anything. Yeah. I would appreciate like the fruit of it, because I know I took that time out. I didn't do that very well in sport and in basketball, but now it's like I'm fully aware of it and I can change it, and I won't let that, be a failure for me anymore. It's actually going to be something I learned from.
That's great. So, do you have like a really good therapist?
I believe, do I have a therapist?
A really good one or something? It's yours. No, I don't.
You don't. Honestly, when you fuck up things, you just kind of learn, and then you have people. I always say you really do. You have to you do have to fail. Like you got to fail at stuff, like anything. Just like do something wrong, and get feedback. And I just learned, and like for me, it just took experiences, and you have to look in the mirror and what you project on things. And I just took me a while to kind of understand, like, yo, everybody's not thinking what you're thinking, and people aren't psychic, so they don't know, but you think people should know. But, it takes a while for you to even just uncover like all those layers and just talk about it. So for me, it's just experiences after experiences that have taught me to just really, be more aware of just like what I'm projecting and who I'm listening to and being present. But so I kind of like been my own therapist, because I've been in situations where I've, I had to learn quick. And so that's why I gave that answer.
Yeah, that's very good. That's great. My husband asked me the other day, we got like 2 toddlers, and you can get very like, I feel like this is a mom thing too. You get very just like caught up in the like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, they need to eat dinner. Okay, it's 7, they need to get in the bath. And Adam was like, are you even enjoying this? Or are you just like,
oh, but that's the thing. I don't have kids, but I have like a dog, and I have like a life, and I'm busy. And like, you get in this routine without taking a step back, and like you can get burnt out very quickly, and you don't even know why. It's like, why am I can I stop? Yeah. Like, can I just like maybe give him a bath at a different time, or just like
not even give him a bath? Yeah. Don't even give him a bath. Yeah, exactly. I know. It's interesting. So it's good. Okay. This is my last one for you. What is something most people don't know about you?
I love surfing.
Do you? Me too.
I love surfing. I didn't grow up in the water. I like it.
You grew up surfing on the East Coast, or
no?
You didn't.
We didn't. I didn't grow up swimming. I got here. I actually love to surf. So I love. People would not expect me to love surfing. I love surfing.
Surfing is the best.
Yeah. It's just like you don't have your phone. You're away from everybody. You're just in the water. And out of 100 times of getting up, I might get up 10. Those 10 times, it's like euphoria. It's just like the best time. Do you surf?
Yeah. I started surfing in South America when I was like 25. I learned in Ecuador, and I didn't want to surf. I was traveling with 3 girls from Ireland, and they were like, we're taking surf lessons. And actually it was in Mancora, Peru. I then went on to Ecuador and surfed for a while, but in Mancora, Peru. And we took a lesson. They pushed me into my first wave. I stood up, and I was like kind of hooked for life. Like, wow. I was like, no, I'm a lake girl. Like, I don't really do the ocean. I'm afraid of all these things. And then I was just addicted. I think it's so
surfing.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like it. All right, Bar. Well, thank you so much. This was great to meet you. And I'm like really impressed. I can't wait to see where Barcode goes. Can you just give like a little plug for where people can find you and where they can find the drink right now and if they can order online or not? And then we'll sign off.
Drink Barcode on Instagram at, drink_barcode. You can also order online at www.drinkbarcode.com. Primarily, we're sold online. We have 3 flavors, lemon lime, watermelon, Pinot Noir, which is a great flavor that we can get to you in less than 2 days. And retail, we're currently in Erewhon in LA. So if you're in LA, stop by Erewhon. We have all 3 flavors there. And I hope you enjoy the beverage.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Bar.
Thank you. All righty.